morning, everyone, and thanks for joining us on After GMS. It is Wednesday, August 24th. I'm Tracy McCain here with Christian Morgan and Megan Malaris.
Welcome. Come on in. Join us. We are live on the WFMY Facebook page, so good to see some regulars on our feed already. We have a lot to talk about in this 15 minutes, so we'll get started with your forecast. Not bad. Warmer than it has been, but that's to be expected.
Yeah, a little warmer than it has been. And, you know, it's a little less humid than it has been, but a little more humid today than it was yesterday, if that makes a little sense to you. But it still feels pretty good to be outside for today. Take a live look over the Piedmont right now, and you see it's totally clear in the mountains. We still have some clouds that we are covered up in here across the Piedmont for right now. And I don't want to be the bearer of bad news. I'm just the messenger here. But if you missed it, last night was our last 8 p.m. sunset until April 24th. Woo! So it is going to be a while. We're at that point in the year where we start to lose daytime pretty quickly over the next several weeks. And even you notice your sunrises getting a little later too. 6:45 this morning, we'll be back to 7 o'clock sunrises in 2 weeks. Remember that cold front that moved by earlier this week? Well, it's just kind of been hanging out down to our south, and it's going to start to move back north a bit before it fizzles out across the Carolinas heading into tomorrow. High pressure still ruling our weather, but it does start to move offshore tonight heading into your Thursday, and that will change our wind direction a bit. So we'll get more of a south and southeasterly wind, which will start to bring back the humidity, which in turn will start to bring back the chances for those daily pop-up showers and thunderstorms. No worries, no rain or storm concern for today. Heading into your Thursday, though, a little bit of a different story. I do expect there to be a few isolated showers, maybe a thunderstorm out there for your Thursday afternoon and Thursday evening. Then we'll do that again for your Friday, but really no washouts over the next few days, just typical daily pop-up shower and thunderstorms in the afternoon. And as you know, they are hit or miss, so some folks may end up staying totally dry over the next few days. Just a good idea to keep checking on the radar from time to time for the end of the week, heading into the weekend. For today, those clouds will give way to a partly sunny sky by the time we get into the afternoon. Temperatures are back up into the mid and upper 80s and just a touch more humid, so it'll feel a little more like 90 degrees outside this afternoon. Upper 60s to near 70 overnight with a partly cloudy sky, and well, that's kind of the flavor of how the rest of the next 7 days will go. Not a whole lot of change here in the temperature department. Our average high temperature, by the way, is 86. We'll hover in the upper 80s to near 90 each day of the next 7. And we don't ever really get a super great rain chance, just those daily pop-up showers and thunderstorms that we're so used to dealing with this time of the year. That's how the next 7 days will go.
Awesome.
As we end August and go
Not
into
bad.
September.
Not bad.
Not bad.
Daylight, I mean, it's kind of sad that, you know, we don't have as much daylight or longer days, but Megan noted on our feed, makes the kids go to bed a little earlier.
Makes me go to bed a little earlier too.
It's good for the whole family.
Makes everyone go to bed a little earlier. Okay, well, don't go to bed just yet. You just woke up.
Yeah. We are talking about back to school routines though, and part of that routine not only is starting that bedtime routine earlier, but also getting your school supplies ready to go, checking off those checklists. So we're asking you, if you're running errands today, shopping for your own kids, think about stopping by the Walmart on Battleground Avenue and participating in our Tools for School supply drive.
Yeah, so the staff will be out there today for our one-day push to collect school supplies for Triad students and teachers. With all of this talk about school supplies, though, we want you to get in on this conversation. What was the school supply item you had to have every year?
Yes.
I know mine right off the bat.
Required, or maybe that you just really had to have every year. While you comment, WFMY News News editor McMiller has more on what supplies really are needed.
Well, it is super easy. While you're doing your routine shopping here at Walmart, just grab a couple of school supplies and drop them in one of these Tools for School bins. Through September 5th, you can find one of these bins at Walmarts across the Triad. You can see we've already started to collect some items from throughout this campaign, but today only, we will be at the Walmart on Battleground Avenue from 9 a.m. to 6 p.m. collecting items for our collection drive. Here's some of the items to keep in mind while you're shopping. These are just a few of the materials. You can find a full list on our website. The supplies collected will help students right here in Guilford County. Items donated will fill the shelves of the teacher supply warehouse at the Guilford Education Alliance. I caught up with the Dudley High School teacher who says without the warehouse, she'd have to dig into her own savings to make sure her students are prepared for the school year.
I would do it because my kids are important to me. I want them to have what they need. Everything's gotten so expensive right now, so we are blessed to have this opportunity to come in here and get supplies for our children because a lot of people can't afford them.
Our Tools for School drive has helped more than 675,000 students since its start. This campaign makes a big difference for the 52% of North Carolina teachers who have to hold down a second job just to make ends meet. The donations collected here today will help teachers across Guilford County to be able to shop at that warehouse for free. Again, we will begin collecting donations at 9 a.m. today.
All right, so we're bringing our conversation back to the table about some of the school items that you had to have every year. We've already had some good ones on the feed, but keep responding. Mine's super easy. It was the left-handed scissors because I am left-handed. They were not super easy to use. They often didn't work. However, it did make me feel special when it was time. Seriously, I mean, they were just hard to use.
Yeah.
I'm a left-handed person, but I feel like I'm a right-handed person. So I don't write like the typical left-handed person who kind of uses their
that's how my
elbow and
dad
turns it
does.
out. Yeah, I don't do that. I'm very, still straight and, narrow in terms of my writing and penmanship.
Yeah.
But the scissors were just very hard to use. Sometimes I would do better with the right-handed scissors, to be honest with you. But I was left-handed. I was like, I want the green ones, please. Thanks.
That's how my husband is. He's left-handed too.
Oh,
And he
yeah.
always had a hard time with stuff like that. And I remember him telling me he had to always go to his college lectures early to try to get one of the rare left-handed desks to take his test.
I forgot about
they were
those,
on the end of
yeah.
the rows on the left side of the auditorium. Yeah, but they were high in demand. So
Right.
Those are the ones that used to have like, sort of like the armrest on the right side. You could lay your arm there and then
Yeah,
right.
if you're right-handed, yeah.
Right, if you're right-handed, and
Yeah.
so if you're left-handed,
I forgot
you're
about
like
those.
crossing over your body to
Yeah.
try to take a test.
Yeah, oh, yeah, that's really hard. I would do the same thing if we had one. Sometimes I wouldn't notice until it was time to like actually write something, and
Yeah.
I'm like, oh man.
Shoot. Oh man.
I think for me, I think we talked about it last week. My school supply I had to have was the Pilot G2 pen.
Oh, yeah.
Best writing pen on the market until you accidentally didn't let it dry and you drug your hand across it and then smeared everything you'd written across the page.
That's also a left-handed problem. We do that often.
I don't know what it was. I guess I was just lazy where I
Yeah.
would just like write like this and I never would like pick up my hand or pick up the pen.
Yeah.
So everything would run together.
Yeah. And then there was no eraser on the
There
back,
was no going back.
and the erasers didn't always work anyway.
No.
Those, I remember when they came out with those erasable pens. Everybody thought it was the best thing since sliced bread. They were horrible.
You couldn't write with them.
You could not
They
write
dried
with them.
out.
They dried out and the eraser never worked. It just,
No.
it never erased it totally. It just kind of left like a big spot
Yeah.
wherever you messed up at.
That's true, but
Better
I still
off to use
liked
whiteout.
it. I still liked mine.
Yeah, I loved a good fresh pencil case every year. I mean, it made sense to reuse them, but they always had some nice, bright, shiny pencil cases in the aisles, and you're like, oh, this looks nice. I also loved those little animal erasers. They were collectible items that I would get at book fairs. They never worked at all, but they were really fun to collect. Yeah.
Oh, I know which ones you're talking
They
about.
were cute.
Yeah, so on my Facebook page, I asked the same question, by the way, and someone said that they liked the pens that you could rotate the ink. They had 4 colors usually.
Yes.
Yes.
Red, green, black, and blue probably.
Blue. Did you
Yeah.
you mashed the thing down on the side?
Yes,
right,
to get
yeah.
to get the color that you want. I always
Yes.
had my ink on green because I love the color. And the teachers were always like, "Who's writing in
You can't
green?"
see it. It's so
ink?"
bright.
Yeah, exactly. And then there was another one. Somebody said the, that triangle, the
Yes. Yes. It had the different colors on each side.
yes, and I cannot remember the name of it right.
Protractor?
Is it protractor?
Protractor.
Yeah, protractor.
No, wait.
No.
No.
That drew the circles.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So yeah, I'll have to go
Anyway,
back
they're
to
I
my
know what
triangle
you're
Facebook
things.
thinking.
So
yeah.
the thing about it is, so I'm on here, but I can still go to my Facebook page on here. So let me just read it because now I'm like, what was it? All right. So in response, Lauren Coleman said, I loved getting a new backpack. Ramona said that she was lefty too, so she always had to use the left-handed scissors, but she always looked for the perfect book bag. And then Trish said pencils with cute designs or animals. Nikisha said crayons were her favorite. And then Karen was the person who mentioned the pen with the 4 colors, as my accent comes out, the pan. I work so hard at that. And then someone said the composition notebooks with wide lines.
Yeah.
And then, oh my gosh, that comment is gone.
That's
They
so funny.
literally deleted it.
That's so funny you mentioned the wide, that they mentioned the wide lines, because I always had to have the college rule, which were the really thin.
The thin lines.
Thin lines.
I wrote small too.
I liked the big lines. I'd write big and loopy. I don't anymore. Toned it down.
I write very badly now.
I write horribly. We like type everything, so really it has been hard for me to come up with good penmanship, even to read my own notes.
I used to, I mean, not to sit here and brag, but people used to say, and teachers used to say, wow, Christian, you have really great handwriting. I am so glad I don't see it now. I mean, everything right. You should see my forecast sheet when I fill it out. It's amazing that Tim knows what to see.
Because we don't do it anymore.
And we don't do it anymore. It's just everything runs together.
Exactly. And you know what else we don't do anymore?
Cursive.
Cursive.
Well, definitely cursive. I was going in a totally different direction. All the kids' shoes these days don't have laces.
Oh.
I know.
Wow.
You know, like when you get
What is
up to like kindergarten, you want to make sure that your kids know how to tie their shoes. And I'm like going to the store to buy shoes, and like they all have like the Velcro. And I'm like, and the laces are already pre-made.
Yeah, I was gonna say they either have the Velcro or the laces where you just kind of pull them to tighten them up. Yeah.
But you don't tie them. And I'm like, no, my kid's learning how to tie their shoes.
Yeah.
Because they will have to tie their shoes.
Yeah.
You don't get that way as an adult.
It's a
Anyway,
vital
I
skill.
understand. I know. It's like a life skill. Bring
Yeah.
some things back. Cursive handwriting. Signing a check.
We're just
People do that
purists.
anymore.
People,
I-
yeah.
Yeah.
Shanika said she also needed collegeable paper. She writes pretty small. Joanne asked, do they even teach penmanship anymore? I think they do, but I don't know if they teach cursive necessarily as part of their regular curriculum.
Where did you
supposed to
learn?
be third
Where did
grade.
y'all learn cursive in? Like what class?
Third grade language arts.
In language arts.
Yeah, in language arts. Okay.
We also learned this form of penmanship called Delia. It's very similar to cursive, but it's kind of like a blend between cursive and the standard penmanship. But don't use any of those anymore. I mean, besides my signature, when is the last time you wrote in cursive?
I know. I don't even trust my own writing. Like this is how bad it's got. I don't trust my own writing to write on a card. I usually type it out on my phone first and then write it out on a sheet of notebook paper. And then I'll go write it in a card before I send somebody a written card. I don't trust, because I've messed up too many cards that way.
Right.
And you can't give somebody a card with whiteout on it.
It's true.
Teachers have the absolute best penmanship.
So good.
My mother-in-law spends a lot of time with our son, and I came home from work the other day, and his name was perfectly written. The most beautiful letters I had ever seen. It looked like it came from a computer, and she had written them because of her, extensive years as a teacher.
Right.
They were
It's
probably
perfect.
straight.
They were straight.
Yeah.
They were perfectly shaped. Yes.
Yeah. Well, he will probably write like your mother-in-law
Hopefully.
then.
Yeah.
Hopefully not like me.
Exactly. A lot of lefties are on here. Shout out to all my left-handed folks. LeVar said he had to have a pack of number 2 pencils for pencil fighting. I've never pencil fought anybody.
Pencil drum.
Sure, the teachers loved you.
Walter said he's also left-handed. Bobby said he's right-handed, but he also said that he needed a calculator. And yeah, so it sounds like, a lot of people just had different things that they wanted to have in school.
Oh, yeah.
We certainly tapped into your nostalgia that went way longer than anticipated
Yeah.
on this first talker, but it was really fun. Let's get to some morning headlines before a final check of your forecast. Tonight, the Greensboro Police Department is hosting its first community input session as it looks for a new chief. There is a meeting tonight, tomorrow, and again next Wednesday from 4:30 to 6 p.m. You can find more information on WFMYnews2.com. President Joe Biden is expected to make a big announcement on student loan forgiveness later today. The president could cancel up to $10,000 in student loans per borrower earning less than $125,000. Student loan repayments have been paused since the start of the pandemic. That program was set to end this week.
Well, today, the acting federal highway administrator, Stephanie Pollack, will be in Winston-Salem. She's expected to join Winston-Salem leaders to announce a RAISE grant for the city's Long Branch Trail extension. The grant is from the president's infrastructure plan. The Piedmont Triad Authority is hosting an airport-wide job fair tomorrow. There are a lot of jobs opportunities at the airport. Companies are hiring, including FedEx Express, HAECO Americas, and Honda Jet. That event starts at 3 p.m. tomorrow afternoon in the terminal building near American Airlines.
All right, final check on that forecast as you head out for your Wednesday. Another pretty quiet, dry day of weather across the Piedmont. We'll warm it up into the mid and upper 80s this afternoon. More sunshine peeking out as we get into the afternoon too, with that chance of isolated showers and thunderstorms heading back into the forecast as we go into the end of the week and into the weekend. No washouts over the next several days, just that pesky chance of a pop-up shower or thunderstorm each afternoon. They will be hit or miss. I would go ahead with all your outdoor plans over the next few days as too. Temperatures don't change a whole lot either. Pretty typical for late August heading into early September. Afternoon highs will hover in the upper 80s each afternoon over the next 7 days.
It looks perfect the next 7 days. No 90s on tap.
Should be pretty good for going back to school Monday.
Yeah.
All right.
All right. Well, that about does it for this edition of After GMS. We'll be back on here tomorrow for more great conversations and, of course, your headlines.
Get out there and get to it. Let's make it a great day.
See you later.